Okay, hello everybody. I'm back. Now we are on, let's see, unit 9, lesson C. Okay, well, student book, page 114, lesson C. Okay, lesson C. We practiced about the requesting politely. Do you remember? Can, could, will, would. These are the words you can use when you request politely. Okay, and if you agree doing that, what would you say if you are agreeing? Sure, I'd be happy to. Sure, I'd be happy to. Or, yes, of course. Or if you reject, what do you say? No, not now. Maybe later. Maybe later. Or, sorry, I can't right now. Sorry, I can't right now. Okay, repeat after me once again. Sure, I'd be happy to. Yes, of course. Or when you reject that, no, not now, maybe later. Or sorry, I can't right now. Okay, good. Now we are on page 114, lesson C. Lesson C. Which one do you recommend? Okay, which questions? And the simple present. Okay, which questions and simple present? Let me see. Which questions Okay, which questions? And the simple present. Make recommendations. Ask for and make recommendations. Descriptive adjectives. Okay, let's look at page 110. Go back to page 110. Do you remember Stella? Let's look at page 110. Okay. Here, 110. Do you remember Stella? She is Stella. Okay? She is Stella. What are some of the problems at Stella's apartment? What are some of the problems at Stella's apartment? The dishwasher is leaking. The washing machine isn't working right. Okay, which problem is the worst problem? Which problem is the worst problem? Yes, the washing machine has the most coming out. The washing machine has the most water coming out. See? Washing machine, this is the biggest problem, the worst problem. Most water coming out. Okay, which child looks the happiest? Which child looks the happiest? This one. He is playing with the bubbles. So this child looks the happiest. Okay. Okay, now let's listen to this. We are on page 114. Let's listen to this. (114) Look at this one and listen to this.
Which questions and simple present. Unit 9, Lesson C. Which one do you recommend? Watch and listen. Grammar rule. Use which to ask a question about a choice between two or more items.
Which supermarket do you recommend?
I recommend Green's Supermarket.
Which supermarket does he recommend?
He recommends Malik's supermarket.
Which supermarket do they recommend?
They recommend Garcia's Supermarket.
Check your understanding. Look at the picture. Complete the question.
Which supermarket do you recommend?
Look at the picture and read the question. Complete the answer.
Which supermarket do you recommend?
I recommend Green's Supermarket.
Which supermarket does he recommend? Which supermarket does he recommend?
He recommends Malik's supermarket.
Which supermarket do they recommend? Which supermarket do they recommend?
They recommend Garcia's Supermarket.
Let's review.
Which plumbing service do you recommend?
I recommend Purdy's Plumbing.
Which plumbing service does he recommend?
He recommends Purdy's Plumbing.
Which plumbing service do they recommend?
They recommend Purdy's Plumbing.
Okay, done? Okay, now let's read together. Number 1, grammar focus, which with questions and simple present. Let's see, use which to ask a question about a choice between two or more items. When you choose between two or more items, you gotta use which. Questions, repeat after me. Which plumbing service do you recommend? I recommend Purdy's Plumbing. Which plumbing service does he recommend? He recommends Purdy's Plumbing. Which plumbing service do they recommend? They recommend Purdy's Plumbing. Okay, good. Remember, when do you use which? To ask a question about a choice between two or three items, three or more items. Okay, then you use which. Okay, look at this cultural note. This cultural note. Okay, plumbers and electricians are usually licensed. you can ask to see their license. So plumbers and electricians, they are usually licensed. So if you prefer them to have license, you can ask them, would you show me your license? That's fine. Okay, perfectly fine. Okay, now let's move to number 2, practice. Practice. Okay, there are 2 plumbing services. One is Harrison's, the other is Brown's. Okay, let's look at Harrison's plumbing service first. It says clean and professional. $100 an hour, open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Fast, 30 years of experience. Okay, let's look at the Browns. It says complete plumbing service, $50 an hour. And then licensed, 15 years of experience, insured. Okay, let's look at the question. Before we look at this, let's listen to this first. Listen to this first.
Page 114, exercise 2A. Track 27. 1.
Which plumbing service do you recommend? Harrison's or Brown's?
I recommend Brown's plumbing service because it's cheaper.
2.
Which plumbing service does he recommend? Harrison's or Brown's?
He recommends Harrison's plumbing service because it's fast. 3. Which plumbing service do they recommend? Harrison's or Brown's?
They recommend Brown's plumbing service because it's licensed.
4.
Which plumbing service does she recommend? Harrison's or Brown's?
She recommends Brown's plumbing service because it's insured. 5.
Which plumbing service do they recommend? Harrison's or Brown's?
They recommend Harrison's plumbing service because it's more experienced.
6. Which plumbing service does he recommend? Harrison's or Brown's?
He recommends Harrison's plumbing service because it's open 24 hours a day.
Okay, it's open 24 hours a day. Okay, let's look at these questions once again. Okay, number 1. The subject should be you and recommend. Which plumbing service do you recommend? Harrison's or Brown's? And then look at B, cheaper. This should be the reason. Okay, this should be the reason why you recommend. Okay, which one is cheaper? Brown's. So the answer should be, I recommend Brown's plumbing service because it is cheaper. Okay, number 2. Which plumbing service does he recommend? The reason should be fast. Which one is fast? Harrison's. So the answer is, he recommends Harrison's because it is fast. No, faster, right? Okay, number 3. Which plumbing service do they recommend? Harrison's or Brown's? The reason should be licensed. Which one is licensed? Brown's. So they recommend Brown's plumbing service because it is licensed. Number 4. Which plumbing service does she recommend? Harrison's or Brown's? The reason should be insured. She recommends Brown's plumbing service because it is insured. Okay, number 5. Which plumbing service do they recommend? Harrison's or Brown's? They recommend, which one? Harrison's plumbing service because it is experienced. Harrison's is 30 years of experience. Brown's is 15 years of experience. So Harrison's is more experienced. Okay. And then number 6. Which plumbing service does he recommend? Harrison's or Brown's? The reason should be open 24 hours a day. It is Harrison's. So he recommends Harrison's because it is open 24 hours a day. Okay. Now, repeat after me. Which plumbing service do you recommend? Harrison's or Brown's? I recommend Brown's plumbing service because it is cheaper. Number 2, which plumbing service does he recommend? Harrison's or Brown's? He recommends Harrison's plumbing service because it is faster. 3, which plumbing service do they recommend? Harrison's or Brown's? They recommend Brown's because it is licensed. Number 4, which plumbing service does she recommend? Harrison's or Brown's? She recommends Brown's plumbing service because it is insured. 5, which plumbing service do they recommend? Harrison's or Brown's? They recommend Harrison's because it is experienced. Number 6, which plumbing service does he recommend? Harrison's or Brown's? He recommends Harrison's plumbing service because it is open 24 hours a day. Okay, let's take another break and then I'll be back. Thank you.